Right, Prabhuji. So let us start. Uh, Let me say my prayers first, and then I'll ask you to ask the question. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुः श्रीयुतपकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवाञ्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान स गणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे ओके हरे कृष्णा
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
हरे कृष्णा I invite you to the second part of the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam overview. We finished the first part last Sunday, where we took first 9 chapters, and today we will begin with the chapter number 10. Forgive me for initial hiccups. Yes, Prabhuji, you said you have some question. The question is related to the subject?
Yes, Prabhuji, chapter first canto.
Yes.
That yeah, 6 questions were asked to Sutta Goswami by the name sages of Naimisaranya. So
Right.
last question was since Krishna went back to his eternal abode, where
Yeah.
did Dharma take shelter during the absence of Krishna?
Yes.
Like I am confused that Dharma and Krishna are non-different or they are different.
Dharma and Krishna are they are same, they are not different, and that's why Dharma or Krishna took shelter in Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srimad Bhagavatam, that's why is considered to be a Granth avatar of Lord Krishna, and that's why when we begin, we always first pray and glorify Srimad Bhagavatam as it being the book avatar of Lord Krishna himself. and then we start with the reading of Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay?
Yes, Prabhuji. Okay,
That's
Prabhuji.
okay? Yeah,
Yes, thank you,
right.
Prabhuji.
Pleasure. So we'll start with chapter 10 today. 10 and 11 are two chapters which are corollary. 10 is where there is a departure of Lord Krishna for Dwarka, and chapter 11 is arrival of Lord Krishna in Dwarka. We are looking at the overview, and in the departure area where Lord Krishna had stayed with Pandavas for all this long time, won the war of Kurukshetra, and now he has put the Yudhishthir as his commander in chief, Maharaja, the king of the planet Earth. And so it describes in detail about the kingdom of Maharaj Yudhishthir. Maharaj Yudhishthir, though he is a king, he behaves as the agent of Lord Krishna, and thus he acts with all the commands and the rules of Lord Krishna. So he re-established by Krishna, the Yudhishthir is now ruling the planet with the complete knowledge. Because Yudhishthir does not behave like he is the master, and he is always at the shelter of Lord Krishna. And since Krishna is ordering things, there is a lot of prosperity in the kingdom, and all the subjects are very happy. Lord Krishna at this time has a lot of intensity and becoming very attractive influence. After staying for few months, Krishna now plans to leave for Dwarka. The separation, of course, is unbearable for Pandavas and others because for quite some time, Lord Krishna was with Pandava with all the intricacies and all the problems. Lord Krishna, before he leaves, was appropriately honored, and the musical instruments, flowers, showers, umbrella, fan, and Brahmanas' benedictions were all pronounced and given, exchanged as an honor. The ladies of Hastinapur were discussing about the glories of Lord Krishna, and this chapter actually has all the glories of Lord Krishna spoken by ladies of Hastinapur. Pleasing talk. Just give me 1 minute. Pleasing talks more attractive than Vedic hymns. So, ladies, when they are talking, their internal exchanges are even more attractive than all the Vedic hymns. Krishna is the original form of the Lord, and thus he empowers Prakriti for recreation. Devotees experience the Lord's form and describe his pastimes. Lord descends into the material world to punish miscreants, and thus Lord punished miscreants and killed them all. Yadu dynasty, Mathura, Dwarka, Queen, and Gopis are all glorious. The Lord smiled and accepted their greetings. This is while Lord is living in his own chariot, and the ladies of Hastinapur either are standing on the way by the roadside or on top of the buildings where he is passing through. And that's where they are describing Lord in detail. Lord proceeds to Dwarka. Yudhishthira arranged defense for Krishna's protection and accompanied him for a distance. This is to pay his respect. On the way to Dwarka, Lord should be secured well, and that's why he sends part of his contingent army along with Lord Krishna, and he accompanies for a short distance as a respect. In last few verses, Lord passes through various provinces on his way. In this chapter, the question that can be generally asked is always the discussion of the ladies of Hastinapur about the Lord. And the Lord is vividly described as in the glorification, and all the prayers are said by the ladies. The next chapter of chapter 11 is the Lord Krishna's entrance into Dwarka. Lord Krishna's conch shell sounds and it heralds for the arrival of Lord Krishna. The conch shell is so powerful then that it even threatens all the fear personified and despair, rejection of citizens. Citizens of Dwarka are now welcoming Lord Krishna, and citizens offered presentation to the self-sufficient Lord. Citizens also welcomed Lord Krishna with the words, incomparable supremacy, following you gives success. That's what they explain. They say that you are supreme, and when we follow you, we get success. It's a rare fortune of your darshana, and separation is always unbearable from you. So these are the four very vital points. They all accept the supremacy of the Lord. They say that following you only gives us success. They say that your darshana is a rare fortune and separation is always unbearable. So this is commonly asked question. Decoration of the city of Dwarka is extensively done, and you can see this decoration in these 6 verses, how the city is cleaned, how each and every area of the city is water sprinkled, how the trees are decorated, how the centers or the crossroads are being popped up with lots of flowers and lots of eatables, etc. And they are all scented all along for Lord to arrive. There are a lot of eatable things that they always put up when the Krishna is passing through, and this is considered as prasadam. So a lot many 6 verses are spent in describing the decoration of Dwarka. Lord's reciprocation with the reception and the close relatives and all other dignitaries of arrived there. Krishna is honored by them, and in terms, Krishna also responds or reciprocates. The Lord's attractive beauty is something which always affects all that sees him, and this inconceivable natural phenomenon is always observed by those who have come to visit him. The next is the dealings with the queen. Queens are in the palace and they are all rejoicing. You know that Krishna had 16,100 queens, and they were rejoicing, embracing, and in the hearts, and feeling a new experience. Inconceivable pastime of the Lord was expected. Transcendental character of the Supreme Lord, his senses are unagitated by queens. His divinity of the Lord and his devotees, and even queens could not understand Krishna. Krishna is transcendental, and he is so transcendental. Transcendental means one who is divya in our routine language of Sanskrit, and he is above the three modes of material nature. He has traversed beyond the material nature, and thus material nature, three modes of the material nature cannot play any havoc on him. In fact, three modes of material nature are actually produced by the Lord Himself, but He is not governed by the three modes of material nature. The next chapter, number 12, is the birth of Emperor Parikshit. After a big war in Kurukshetra, ultimately all the Kauravas and 11 Akshauri Sena of Kauravas gets completely wiped out from the face of earth. And that was one of the reasons why this war was fought. So also quite a large number of people on the other side, on the Pandavas side. Five Pandavas, Vidura and Balram, because Vidura never fought the war, he went to pilgrimage, and Balram also did not fight the war, he remained neutral, and that's why very few people lived. That included five Pandavas, the wives of Abhimanyu, Uttara, Draupadi. The children of Pandavas who were alive were killed at the last moment while they were sleeping by Aswathama, as we saw last time. Saunakadi Rishi inquires about Parikshit. We want to hear about the birth, activities, death, and destination of Parikshit, who was saved in the womb. Yudhishthir's rule was an exemplary rule. He had wonderful qualities, opulence, and detachment, and thus he ruled the entire kingdom with pious mind, and that produced a lot of comfortable living to all the subjects with lots and lots of dhanya and fruit available to everyone. Lord Krishna protects child Parikshit in the womb. When Aswatthama sends his Brahmastra or atomic weapon towards the embryo, remember that Parikshit Maharaj is still in an embryo in the womb of a mother Uttara, wife of Abhimanyu. And this Brahmastra had a lot of heat and radiation. If this heat and radiation goes into the womb, that will certainly burn out the newly growing embryo. Krishna immediately enters inside the womb of Mother Uttara, takes a size of a thumb of a man, and what Abhimanyu sees in embryo inside the womb was a king. He was a person who is thumb the size of a thumb, looks running around here and there. He is wearing a golden molten mugat on his head. He has very well decorated pitambar on his body and Kaustuba diamond on his chest and looking very perfectly effulging lots of waves of lights. He sees these Lord himself. He takes his darsana, and that's why throughout the life he has always been seeking for a person similar to what he had seen in the womb, and that's why he is given the name Parikshit. He is examining each and every individual that he meets, whether he is the same man that he saw, because he knows that that same man is Lord Krishna himself, and thus the name Parikshit comes. Lord completely protects the embryo from the heat and radiation both, and thus embryo remains alive. Parikshit Maharaj is thus born at a very auspicious moment, and then Yudhishthira performed all his birthrights and gave a lot of charity to Brahmana. Parikshit Maharaj has been forecasted as going to be much more, as much as King Yudhishthira, famous Kirtiman, and he would have kingdom spread wide and far, and he would be having lots of comforts and pleasures he would be offering to all his subjects. Thus, the predictions about Parikshit Maharaj and his future qualities are here. Child will be known as Vishnu Ratha. Vishnu Ratha is the one who always has Vishnu in his mind. Thus, he always keeps on finding whether the person he meets is same as he saw in the womb, and that's why it's called Vishnu Ratha. Would be a first-class devotee. Used to inquire about child's future qualities and Parikshit's future qualities compared to that of very famous personalities. Will take advantage of the death notice and submit to hearing process. This had been forecasted about Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit's growth, he was born, then he becomes a newborn to a neonate and to an infant, to a child and to a Kishoravasa, ultimately growing into a nice adult. It's all done while this he kept performing various yagnas for him. But Parikshit's constant search for the Lord while he was growing, as I described you. Yudhishthira performed horse sacrifice under Krishna's direction. Krishna returns to Dwarka with Arjun. Arjun goes to drop him and to stay for a while with Lord Krishna in Dwarka. Now there is chapter 13 and 14 where two great personalities live. One great simply because he is sitting on a great place or a throne, but he himself is not a great, and the other, Lord himself. Dhritarashtra quits home. You can imagine a situation now that Dhritarashtra is living in the palace given by Pandavas, and he is actually living with the finances offered by Pandavas. Whereas throughout his life, he has done injustice to the Pandavas. When Vidura returns to Hastinapur from pilgrimage, Vidura returns after hearing from Maitreya about self-realization. Vidura meets Maitreya Muni, who then becomes his spiritual master. And Maitreya Muni has been explained about what to tell by Lord Krishna himself. And so Vidura hears all the messages that has been sent by Lord Krishna himself to Vidura. Lord Krishna used to like Vidura so much because he was the only one who was honest in the camp of the Kauravas. And of course, he knew that he is the Yamaraja himself. All the Hastinapur residents received him as if they regained their consciousness. So when Vidura returns after the war is over, he returns from the pilgrimage and people sit around him, like, inviting him into the palace. Conversation between Yudhishthira and Vidura. Yudhishthira inquires about Vidura's travel and Dwarkavasis. So Vidura explains in detail about all his travel to various places various holy places, and also describes about Dwarkavasis. Vidura tells everything, but he does not tell two things. Number one, that Krishna has already left for his abode, and that all the Yadu dynasty has killed each other to leave this earth along with Lord Krishna. So he does not tell these two things unless he will be asked specifically. Vidura's purpose for staying at Hastinapur is very clear, that he wants to now benefit Dhritarashtra, who is his elder brother, to leave the family affairs and get himself liberated from this material world. For this purpose, Vidura chastises Dhritarashtra, and this is a common question that is asked: how Vidura chastises Dhritarashtra? He tells strong words like, get out of here. Fear actually has overtaken you. Lord, as Kala approached all of us, and everyone has to surrender in their life. All your relatives are dead. Symptoms of old age has appeared in you. This is what Vidura tells Dhritarashtra. You are living like a dog of Bhima because he is providing you the food. And Bhima is the one whom Dhritarashtra always disliked or liked least among Pandavas, because he knew that probably Bhima is going to kill Duryodhana and no need to live degraded life. Ultimately, he says that you are a Krupana, you couldn't be a Narottama, become Dhira, or leave the earth. So he is instructing Dhritarashtra that you are spending your life in this material world, in this palace. It is of no use. It is a slavery. You are living like a dog. People are throwing roti at you and you are picking up. This is not the way you should live. You should go to north and live the life in liberation. Dhritarashtra, Gandhari, and Vidura leave, and Yudhishthir laments. Vidur tells them that we all three leave because we all three are old and we have to now live our life and get liberated from this material world. So we go to the north. In the north, there is Himalaya, where people used to go there to die. So all three people leave, but when they leave without notice to anyone, without telling anyone else. This is simply so that there is no sort of lamentation in loud voices all through while they leave. And so Yudhishthir laments that he has been there like a son to them, and why should they live like this without telling me? Narad Muni comes along and then shatters the lamentation and illusion of Yudhishthira. Arrival of Narad Muni and King Yudhishthira's inquiry. Narad Muni philosophically dispels his illusion and future acts of Dhritarashtra. He is left for Himalaya, performs the Astanga Yoga, gives up body, Gandhari does sati, and Vidura goes for pilgrimage. So Narada Muni philosophically explains to him that there is nothing left for them to do except to leave the body and get liberated. And then he philosophically explains that they are living in the illusion, so they want to come out of that illusion, which is their birthright, and ultimately tells what actually has been happening at that time with Dhritarashtra, Vidura, and Gandhari. They are living for Himalaya, they are performing the Ashtanga Yagna, and Dhritarashtra gives up his body while Gandhari becomes Sati and Vidura leaves for a pilgrimage. And then there is a disappearance of Lord Krishna himself. Krishna came for a purpose. That purpose is served. The war of Kurukshetra occurred, which removed a huge number of beings, human beings, who were all doing animal sacrifices, killing animals for the material benefit, and thus causing a chaos. Maharaja Yudhishthira suspected the disappearance of Krishna, and so Arjuna did not, he tells that Arjuna did not return from Dwarka even after 6 months. Arjuna, remember, went to Dwarka with Krishna to accompany him and to live there for a while. Then Yudhishthira also felt inauspicious omens all around himself. And Yudhishthira expresses his suspicion to Bhima. Further bad omens experienced by Yudhishthira in the body, animal, birds, Panchmahabhuta, cattle, deities, and other places, Yudhishthira feels that there are enough omens or bad predictions that are coming up from all these entities. He, being a pure devotee of the Lord, he could pick them up very quickly. Then Arjuna suddenly appears, coming back from Dwarka to Hastinapur, and that's where Yudhishthira suspects the great loss. But when Arjuna appears, returns, he is dejected. So he doesn't like that. He is dejected means Arjuna is dejected. Yudhishthira inquires about welfare of Yadus. Again here, Arjuna tells all about others, but does not tell about Krishna and about the Yadu dynasty until he is asked for. Yudhishthir Maharaj, being the Dharma Maharaj, would never ask about well-being of Lord Krishna, because Lord Krishna, no one asks about his well-being. He's always perfect in a very, very perfect condition because he is absolute truth. But as the time passes, the problems are being described, and Yudhishthir then glorifies Krishna and his influence. Krishna enjoying then he's asking whether Krishna is enjoying uh, Sudama assembly and about Balram, Krishna's wives and Yadu heroes. So when you cannot ask directly about their well-being, you ask about whether they are enjoying, they are fine, they're doing well, etc. And that's when Yudhishthira's inquiry about Arjuna's welfare, the health, disrespect, unfriendly words, failure to give charity or protect. Arjuna felt dejected. So now Yudhishthira is asking, what is the reason that you are feeling dejected? Is it your health? Is it that someone has disrespected you? Somebody has been unfriendly with you? Or you have been failing to give charity or protect someone? He is also asking whether you also came across a woman of impeccable character and failed to protect her, or you treated a deserving woman badly. Or is it that you fought some fight, got defeated, or you started taking meal alone, or unpardonable mistakes that you make? And when the answer doesn't come in positive from all these questions, why Arjuna is dejected. And that's when Yudhishthira finally inquires about Krishna's disappearance. And then he comes to know that Krishna has disappeared from the material world. He has gone back to his Goloka Vrindavan, and Yadu dynasty being all his associates, his devotees, and they are all pure devotees and associates of Golok Vrindavan. So they also fought with the wine drinking and with the alcohol, they fought with each other and killed each other, and thus the whole millions of Yadu dynasty people also died, and all of them went to Golok Vrindavan. The chapter number 15 is Pandavas retire timely. It's very important to retire timely. You know that people like sportsmen and other people really get up to the timing of retirement. Arjuna's strong feeling for separation from Krishna. Naturally, Arjuna had been a close friend and associate of Krishna, so his separation would mark a lasting impression on him. Arjuna feels that he has lots of bodily symptoms of separation and that the astounding power of a warrior, power of a Darudar, or that power of a great warrior, which was there at the time of at the time of Krishna, is no more with Arjuna. We have a saying, Kabe Arjun Lutio, Wahi Danush Wahi Bar. It's the same Arjun which was defeated in protecting the Krishna's queens while he was traveling from most ordinary bandits of the town. So Krishna's power as a great warrior was bestowed upon him by Lord Arjun, Lord Krishna. And thus Arjun recalls Lord Krishna's favors and protection. By his mercy, I won Draupadi, I conquered Indra, and I killed so many Asuras. He is remembering intimate moments, and Arjuna felt void in Krishna's absence. They were joking with each other, they were frankly talking with each other, and Krishna was very tolerant of Arjuna. He feels void in separation, defeated by cowherds, all powers nullified at the moment. And annihilation of Yadu, Yadu's side to Brahmana's curse through mutual killing. So, in short, Arjuna is describing what role Krishna as a friend played in his life throughout, which he understands now. He was not being able to understand while it was going on. He was thinking that it was probably all his merits that brought him all the laurels. It was Lord Krishna who was bringing all the laurels, like Draupadi, like conquering Indra, etc., were brought to him. Arjuna then focuses on Lord's instructions and attains transcendence. Ultimately, Arjuna was told Bhagavad Gita in war, and instructions were given while he was with Lord Krishna in Dwarka. And thus he pacifies his mind by following instructions given by the Lord Krishna himself. He accepts everything, and thus his bhakti gets intensified, and then he is no more entangled in the birth and death. At this time, Yudhishthir also retires. Kunti got liberated. Krishna's disappearance, Kali's entrance is almost simultaneous. So Yudhishthir also thinks of retirement and prepares to leave because he thinks now that the Parikshit Maharaj is now reaching the adulthood. So become the he should now become the he should now become the king, and Yudhishthir should retire. So ultimately, Yudhishthira enthrones Parikshit Maharaj and gives him Vajra. Yudhishthir then retires, not depending on the brothers, travels to the north. Other Pandavas, Draupadi and Vidura, departs as well. The other Pandavas followed, attained lords aboard. Vidura back to Pitruloka, where he is going to be Amraj there again. And Draupadi, Subhadra attained same result as their husbands. Falashruti hearing this pastime leads to Hari Bhakti. It has been said that those who read chapter on disappearance of Lord Krishna gets a Falashruti of hearing as the Hari Bhakti as pastime to them. 16, 17, 18, and 19, these four chapters are related to Parikshit Maharaj. The 16 and 17 are the Parikshit Maharaj receives the age of Kali, and Parikshit Maharaj punishes the Kali. And 17 and 18, 18 and 19 are the two chapters where Parikshit Maharaj is cursed in chapter number 18. And Parikshit Maharaj is there. Parikshit Maharaj meets Shukadeva Goswami, who is the first reciter of Srimad Bhagavatam. And that's when he sits and hears Srimad Bhagavatam. We'll see that as we get along. Parikshit is an ideal ruler, becomes an ideal ruler, and he punishes Kali. Saunaka Muni, Saunaka Rishi then asks a question. Why did Parikshit only punish Kali and not kill him? The devotees licking honey of the Lord's feet escape the death, and lazy humans waste their time of day and night in material world. Question is very simple. Why Parikshit did not kill Kali? If we would have killed Kali, we would probably not have to go through Kali Yuga. Kali appeared as if a Shudra has worn a dress of king. He was fighting with Dharma, who is in the form of a cow, and Dharni, which is Dharti or Prithvi. When Parikshit first caught him, he realized that he cannot win a war with Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj was stout, tall, well disciplined, well groomed, very good warrior, and he would defeat Kali in any war immediately. So, as usual, the wicked people do is that Kali immediately came to shelter of Parikshit Maharaj, and he said, I am at your feet. I am a shelter. Give me a place to live, and I will restrict myself and only live in that place. So, as a bona fide Kshatriya, Parikshit Maharaj could not kill a person who has come to the shelter. So he gives him 4 places to stay. Places where there is a prostitution, places where there is a gambling, places where there is a drinking of alcohol, and places where uh, there is a meat eating going on. In Satyuga, such places were rare to find, and ultimately there were no places of such kind existing in Satyuga. So he very benevolently gave him 4 places, but he knew that in his kingdom there are no such places. Kali had been very smart. He roams around and comes back and says that there are no such places at the moment, and so give me one more place. And so he bestows one more place where there is a lot of gold staked in one place. Remember that whenever there is a gold staked at one place, all the dishonesty and disharmony enters there very fast. Ultimately, as the time passed, Parikshit disappears, and such places appears in abundance. And if you look at it now, we have the bars and the restaurants, brothels of almost all the roads of my major city, and gambling going on in casinos. So these are all licensed rules and regulations institution now in this Kali Yuga. Of course, now the entire world is in the hands of the Kali and he can stay anywhere he likes. But this was the situation in Satyuga, and this is how Parikshit Maharaj gave him place and did not kill him. Of course, as Sutta Goswami describes the Parikshit Maharaj's conquering, he is reaching the far world. conquering far places and making the entire planet his kingdom. Dharma and the Dharani. These are the two people. Cow gives us milk. Land or Prithvi gives us everything, the grains with the rain, fruits, the pearls, the metals, and all other opulences of diamonds and other things. They are discussing with each other that what is happening, what's wrong with you, why the cow is lamenting. And that's where cow describes in detail that, give me a minute, please. Hare Krishna. And so the cow tells that her three legs are being tied up. She's standing only on one leg. And Kali Yuga is so strong that she's barely living. The earth has started producing irregular rains in the kingdom of Kali. And the rains are irregular, either they are too much or too little. They are not equally spread all around, and that's why the grains that grow are also less and less in amount. The rivers and the mountains no more gives metals, no more gives the pearls and the diamonds. So this is the situation in the Kali Yuga that has been described, and the lamentation is going on in this chapter. The punishment and reward of the Kali is exactly what I described to you. And then there is a conversation between the earth and the bull, or Dharma and bull and the cow. The discussion is going on about the Kali and Kali's Samrajya. Parikshit Maharaj is cursed by a Brahmana boy. Parikshit Maharaj had gone for hunting and he had a very bad day. He got exhausted in hunting, was sweating all around, and he returns back to his kingdom. While returning back on the outskirts of his kingdom's capital city, he finds an ashrama, and in that ashrama he goes, Samika Rishi's ashram. And in the ashram when he goes, Samika Rishi himself was in a samadhi. Once someone is in the samadhi, he is not aware about what is going on around him. So when king came, he did not offer any water. He did not offer anything. King was very hungry and very thirsty. He expected some water as a preliminary gesture and some food as a gesture to the king because he ultimately is a king. But nothing was offered to him as he was in samadhi, and rest of his family members were not in the ashram. So he feels dejected and he immediately uh, takes an action of a dead snake skin that was lying in the vicinity. He took it and he uh, put around the neck of the Samika Rishi. He then went away and went back to the palace. But when the Shringi, the young boy of Brahmana Rishi Samika, came back to the ashram, he saw his father in samadhi, but wearing a dead snake skin around his neck. He got very angry, and Brahmana boy, when they get angry, when they usually curse. And in Satyuga, the anger and the curse were always very valid because Brahmanas were pure. Shringi in his immature stage at the age of 16 curses that whosoever did this must die by a flying bird and a flying snake in 7 days. So obviously the curse was to Parikshit Maharaj for him to die in 7 days. Very short notice, Parikshit Maharaj would have gone back to Sabikar Rishi and requested him, and I'm sure he would have taken the curse of his son back. But Parikshit Maharaj would not do that because Parikshit Maharaj felt that it was probably a message of the Lord Himself for him to go back to Godhead and get out of the material life. So he did not ask for any reverence from the Samika Rishi. He never met him. And Samika Rishi felt very bad for his son that he should not have done it. It's a wrong thing for him to do for king as big as Parikshit Maharaj because he knew Parikshit Maharaj very well. But whatever had happened had happened. Parikshit Maharaj took advantage of these 7 days, immediately retired, gave his kingdom to his sons, and his wives and palace he left and went to the shores of the river Ganga, river Jamuna in the Hastinapur. When he reached there, Lord Krishna already prepared Sukadeva Goswami to reach Hastinapur and reach to the shores of the Yamuna river. King the Sukadeva Goswami, being a very exalted devotee and a very learned man, was looking like a madman because he was not wearing nice perfumes, not very well cleaned, having his hairs going here and there, and he was virtually a naked man. These are the qualities that you find generally in a person who is not materially attached at all, but spiritually they are very well exalted and advanced people. And so ultimately, Sukadeva Goswami met uh, Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj took his shelter, made him his spiritual master, and asked for, as a spiritual master, Sukadeva Goswami, with his powerful tongue, when Srimad Bhagavatam that he heard from his father, who actually wrote Srimad Bhagavatam, who also was an avatar or incarnation of Lord Krishna. He speaks Srimad Bhagavatam for 7 days and 7 nights continuously. And Sukadeva Goswami speaks for 7 days and 7 nights while Parikshit Maharaj, without eating anything, without drinking anything, without even going to the toilet, for 7 days and 7 nights he hears Srimad Bhagavatam. This gives him liberation from the material bondage and he goes back to Lord Krishna in his Golok Vrindavan. Lot of conversation between Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadeva Goswami, but they are all entangled in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So all the stories that are depicted in previous chapters, they are all discussed by Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. When this was told, there were many other rishis and munis were present in the on the shores of the river bank. And Sutta Goswami was also there hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from Sukadeva Goswami. Sutta Goswami has been the son of Roma Harshana. Roma Harshana had been a very exalted devotee of Lord Krishna, and he has written many of the scriptures himself. So Sutta Goswami then ultimately hears everything from Sukadeva Goswami first hand, directly from his mouth, and then he reaches the Visharanya, where Saunakadi Rishi have gathered together for yagna for 1,000 years. And that's where Sutta Goswami speaks the Srimad Bhagavatam as a disciple of Sukadeva Goswami. And that's where Saunakadi Rishis ask first 6 questions that we all saw in the beginning of this canto. This is how the circle is completed. Lots of glorification of Lord Krishna in the entire Srimad Bhagavatam, especially first canto. And of course, the glorification is always with Krishna Katha. And Krishna Katha has all the importance in the world. If you hear Krishna Katha, you certainly get rid of the bondage of the birth and death, Jara and Vyadhi, and you go back to Golak Vrindavan. Krishna Katha is nothing but science of Krishna. It lets you know who Krishna is, what Krishna is, what are his principles, what are his life's actions and goals, and what he likes the most. If we become what he likes, then obviously he is going to call us back to him. And that is the easiest way to go back to Lord Krishna. Our Bhakti Marg teaches us to transform ourselves from the material entity into a person similar to what Krishna likes, means transformation. Hearing Krishna Katha, putting it into practice, and and transforming ourselves into a Shuddha person or person who has clean heart, who has clean consciousness, who has clean senses, and that person goes back to the Lord Krishna himself. I think this is in nutshell the overview of Canto 1. If you have heard it well or not, then you can again hear the recording. But it is sufficient for you to answer any question that may arise in interview from Srimad Bhagavatam. Any question, any issues, any doubts, you can please tell me or ask. Hare Krishna Madhav Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, it was very nice hearing from your mouth. I at least a brief summary I've got first canto.
I am happy you liked it. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. If there are no questions, I think I overshoot time to some extent because we started late.
Yes, sir.
Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patita namo pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Hare Koti Vaishnava ki jai. Thank you very much, Dr. Madhav Paul Prabhuji, for attending the class, and hope we'll come along and see each other sometime. Thank you. All very best to you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.